We're very smart people. And for instance, Jen is going for a doctorate. Kim, she is a master of higher education at the University of Chicago. And Andrew's been to the doctor. We will talk about that. We're all very smart people, but sometimes we like to see who's the smartest. So these three are going to vie for whoever is the smartest person at the last time. And the way they're going to do it is like this. We are going to lecture you on a topic. One of them will come forward to start the lecture, but at any point, if they misspeak, if they say unfactual information, if they just are plain wrong, anybody from the back can say, challenge! Then they will state their challenge to me, and I will judge whether it is a valid or an invalid challenge. If it's valid, they come up, take the hot spot, and they continue the lecture. If it's not, they stay in the back, and the person up the front continues the lecture. Now, we have 2 minutes to do this. 2 minutes on this clock. Every time we stop the clock, and we'll evaluate the challenge. But then whoever's here at the end of the 2 minutes is our challenge champion, and the smartest person here at the last laugh until the next time we'll play this game. So, to get us started, what is a topic you think that we know absolutely nothing about?
Artificial insemination.
I think we all know that Andrew knows a lot. Andrew, why don't you start? Go.
Artificial insemination is a very important part of everyday life.
Challenge?
Yes, Jen.
Everyday life?
For some people like him, it's everyday life. He really needs the money. Go.
Artificial insemination was created in order to allow the sexual intercourse that happens become a little bit more productive. And artificial insemination really begins with an erection. I would like to...
Challenge?
Yes.
Not always. Sometimes they just have to pull the semen out with a syringe.
That's true. She has a boyfriend, so she...
And sometimes I just have to pull out a syringe. Anyways, so all they do is they remove the semen with a syringe, pretty easy, and then you put it in these little vials, but you have to store them really specifically. I'm pretty sure you have to use, what is it, ice? Dry ice.
Challenge.
Yes, Andrew.
You do not need to use vials. You can just use Tupperware.
That's true, which is vile. Go ahead.
Usually then, yes, you take the semen and you keep it in Tupperware, and you can leave it out on the counter, or you can refrigerate it.
Yes.
You cannot leave it on the counter.
His roommate says you shouldn't leave it on the counter, but you can.
Just don't set it by the salad dressing. That's important.
Challenge. Challenge. That was gross.
So artificial insemination is not only used in humans, but also in turkeys. Did you know that turkeys no longer really mate because
Challenge.
of factors?
Yes.
I watched National Geographic last night. They do mate.
Yeah, sometimes they're in love.
So it's turkeys, turtles, and cows that use artificial insemination. I guess humans too, when it's necessary. But it's important to store the little vials of semen in either the freezer. It has to be below freezing, however. It can last up to 6 to 9 months. After that point, spoiled.
Challenge.
Yes, kid.
When she said 6 to 9, I felt like she was making a kind of a
That's a big.
pun, and we're experts here.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. So it usually takes about 7.5 months that you ought to leave those in there. But the thing is, so the higher the temperature, the slower the swimmers become. So when it comes time to fertilize the egg, the colder that the material was kept, the faster the swimmers
Challenge.
are.
Yeah, Andrew.
It has nothing to do with temperature. It's all about love.
Yeah. And tell us about the love.
Yes. Artificial insemination, when it
30
comes down
seconds.
to it, is about love.
Challenge.
To an American.
Not about love. If you have to be artificial inseminated, you don't really love someone. You just have to do it.
It's true.
I think it's more about lust and then the necessity to have.
Challenge, I think it's more about science.
Yeah, and scientists are not lustful, so go ahead.
They're all wearing glasses and lab coats, and it's cold in the freezer, and they've never experienced love before, and yet their hands.
Challenge.
Yes,
Scientists love Dungeons and Dragons, and that's real love.
That is true. That is true. They Well
They
done.
play Dungeons and Dragons. It's usually
15
twice
seconds.
a weekend. They get their gear on. One of them's a dungeon. One's obviously a dragon. And then they tag each other. And that's
I'm gonna challenge that. You really don't.
That's not how you play.
Tell us how you
Because
play.
my older brother used to play in our basement. There's like all these
10
dies,
seconds.
and they have like multiple sides. There's like 8 side dies, and then there's like 4 side dies, and it involves names, and you have to have characters.
She's being very vague. She's clearly not an expert.
I don't even know how a four-sided die works. Go ahead, tell us about it. About 5 seconds.
But there's a 6-sided die, so those are totally normal, and everyone spins it, and then you find out if you're
Challenge!
Yes.
Nothing is normal about Dungeons and Dragons.
That's very
Absolutely. And you should really, if you really want to see it, you should try the 2-sided die. Because that is an
Challenge.
amazing.
Yes.
2-sided die is a coin, you fool.
That's true. Get up there and flip a
So,
coin, see who's the
flip a
winner,
coin,
and
and
it's Jay!
it's you.
Jay!